The emergency that changed everything. No one in the galaxy expected a human doctor to save the most powerful royal bloodline in the universe. But in the darkest hour of the Viridian Empire, when their greatest scientists had failed and their princess was dying, a tired human with a cup of cold coffee would prove something the entire galaxy had forgotten. Humans never give up. And sometimes, the simplest mind can outthink the most advanced civilization. A message in the middle of the night. At 3:27 a.m., Dr. Rowan Hale was half asleep inside a small medical station orbiting Mars. His screen suddenly flashed red. Priority transmission. Galactic Royal Authority. Rowan blinked. He rubbed his eyes. Great, either someone's dying, he muttered, or someone pressed the wrong button again. The message opened. Urgent request for Dr. Rowan Hale. Specialist in regenerative medicine. Immediate transport required. Location: Planet Orion Prime. Patient: daughter of the Orion King. Rowan leaned back in his chair. The alien king's daughter, he said quietly. Orions were not ordinary aliens. They were one of the oldest and most powerful civilizations in the galaxy. Their technology could bend gravity. Their cities floated in the sky. And their scientists had knowledge thousands of years ahead of humanity. So if they were asking a human doctor for help, things had to be very, very bad. Rowan stared at the message for a long moment. Then he sighed. Well, guess I'm not sleeping tonight. Journey to a world of giants. The royal transport arrived in minutes. The ship looked like a blade made of silver light. Even Rowan, who had traveled through space for years, had never seen anything like it. Inside the ship, everything hummed softly with alien energy. No buttons. No visible controls. Just glowing surfaces responding to movement. Show-offs, Rowan muttered. The ship launched. Stars stretched into glowing lines. Hours passed as the vessel crossed enormous distances through the galaxy. Finally, the planet Orion Prime appeared outside the window. Rowan leaned forward. Wow! The world looked like a blue crystal floating in darkness. Gigantic cities glowed across the surface. Massive rings circled the planet like halos of light. Orion Prime was not just a planet. It was a civilization masterpiece. Yet the moment Rowan landed, he felt something strange. The palace guards waiting at the docking bay looked tense. Worried. Almost afraid. The silent palace. Rowan was escorted through the royal palace. Tall alien soldiers stood along the halls. Each one was nearly 3 meters tall. Their silver skin reflected the palace lights like mirrors. No one spoke. The silence felt heavy. Rowan finally asked the attendant beside him. How bad is she? The alien paused. Then replied slowly. Our best healers could not stabilize her condition. Rowan frowned. Define could not. The alien stopped walking. She is dying. Rowan's steps slowed. That was not good. If Orion scientists could not solve the problem, then whatever injured the princess was beyond ordinary medicine. They reached a massive door. The attendant opened it. Inside waited the most advanced medical room Rowan had ever seen. Floating diagnostic screens. Holographic scanners. Machines that looked like glowing orbs of energy. And in the center of the room, a young alien woman lay unconscious on a transparent medical bed. The Princess of Orion. Princess Lyara looked almost human. Almost. Her skin shimmered with a soft violet glow. Her hair floated slightly above her head as if gravity barely touched it. Her breathing was shallow. Weak. Rowan stepped closer. Every medical screen around her showed chaos. Cellular collapse. Energy fluctuations. Unknown biological reactions. Rowan studied the readings quietly. Then he whispered one word. Impossible. The injury was not physical. It was deeper. Something had damaged the energy structure of her body itself. Orion biology used a form of internal bioenergy. And that energy was collapsing. One of the alien doctors spoke. We have tried every treatment known to our civilization. Rowan folded his arms. And none worked. The doctor shook his head. The condition continues to worsen. Rowan stared at the princess for a long moment. Then he asked the most important question. What caused this? The room fell silent. Finally, the alien doctor answered. An assassination attempt. Rowan slowly exhaled. That explained everything. But it also meant something terrifying. Someone in the galaxy possessed a weapon powerful enough to destroy Aurian biology. And if they succeeded once, they would try again. A human idea. Rowan walked around the medical bed, studying, thinking. Every Aurian machine focused on energy stabilization. But Rowan noticed something strange. Everyone was trying to fix the energy first. No one was treating the cell damage underneath. Humans had a saying. When machines fail, try something simple. Rowan looked at the alien doctors. Do you have nanite injectors? The aliens stared at him. Yes. Good. He crossed his arms. Because you're all trying to fix the wrong problem. The room became very quiet. One alien scientist frowned. You believe human medicine can succeed where ours failed? Rowan shrugged. Maybe. Then he smiled slightly. But humans are very good at surviving things that should kill us. The king arrives. The door opened suddenly. A massive figure stepped into the room. The Aurian king himself. He was enormous. Nearly 4 meters tall. His golden armor shimmered with royal symbols. His eyes burned with intelligence. And fear. He looked down at Rowan. You are the human doctor. Rowan nodded. Yes, Your Majesty. The king glanced at his unconscious daughter. Then back at Rowan. If you fail, she dies. Rowan met the king's gaze calmly. I know. The king stepped closer. And if you succeed? His voice lowered. The galaxy will remember what humanity did today. Rowan took a deep breath. Then rolled up his sleeves. Well, he said quietly, let's prove humans belong among the stars. And with that, the most important surgery in galactic history began. The entire royal medical chamber fell silent as Dr. Rowan Hale prepared for the impossible. The alien doctors stood around him in a wide circle, watching carefully. Some looked curious. Others looked doubtful. To them, a human doctor trying to save the Aurian princess felt like watching a child attempt to repair a starship engine. But Rowan did not care about their doubts. He had seen enough suffering in his life to know one simple truth. When someone was dying, pride and reputation meant nothing. Only action mattered. He studied the glowing medical scans floating around the bed. Princess Lyara's body was collapsing faster now. The strange weapon that injured her had damaged the energy network running through her cells. Every minute that passed pushed her closer to death. An Aurian scientist finally spoke. Human doctor, our technology can rebuild entire organs. Yet the princess continues to deteriorate. What do you believe we missed? Rowan crossed his arms and stared at the readings. You're trying to repair the energy before repairing the body, he said calmly. Several alien doctors exchanged confused looks. That is logical, one of them replied. Her biological energy is the foundation of her life. Rowan shook his head slightly. Not for humans, he said. He pointed at one of the floating scans. In human medicine, when something is collapsing, we stabilize the smallest parts first. Cells, tissue, blood flow. Fix the base layer, and the rest rebuilds itself. The aliens were silent again. To them, Rowan's approach sounded primitive. But sometimes primitive ideas were exactly what saved lives. Rowan finally said, I need nanite injectors and a regenerative enzyme pack. The alien doctors hesitated. Those tools were rarely used together. Combining them could be extremely dangerous. But the princess was dying. And they had no other solution. Moments later, the equipment arrived. Rowan took a deep breath. All right, he whispered. Let's see if human stubbornness beats alien science. The room lights dimmed as the procedure began. A thin injector slid into Princess Lyara's arm, releasing billions of microscopic nanits into her bloodstream. On the floating screens, tiny signals began spreading through her body. At first, nothing happened. The nanits searched through her damaged cells like microscopic explorers. Then the alarms suddenly screamed. Energy instability rising. Several Orion doctors stepped back. "This is dangerous," one warned. Rowan stared at the screen without blinking. "I know," he said. Princess Lyara's heart rate dropped. Her breathing slowed even more. For a terrifying moment, the readings almost flatlined. One of the alien scientists whispered, "We must stop." But Rowan raised his hand. "No." His voice was quiet but firm. "If we stop now, she dies." The room fell silent again. Then something unexpected happened. The nanits began repairing the cellular damage left by the alien weapon. Slowly, one layer at a time, broken cells started rebuilding. And as the cells stabilized, the princess's energy network began restoring itself. One of the Orion scientists leaned closer to the screen. This is impossible." Rowan allowed himself a small smile. "Not impossible," he said. "Just human." Minutes passed. Then something else appeared on the scans. A foreign object. Tiny. Hidden deep inside Lyara's body. Rowan's smile disappeared. That shouldn't be there. He zoomed the scan closer. The object was microscopic but extremely advanced. It was releasing waves of destructive energy into her cells. An alien scientist gasped. "A parasite device." Rowan nodded slowly. Someone planted a weapon inside her. Suddenly the entire room understood the truth. This was not simply an assassination attempt. It was sabotage designed to slowly kill the princess in a way that even Orion science could not detect. Rowan quickly adjusted the nanite commands. "New plan," he said. The alien doctors watched closely. "The nanits are going to isolate the device and shut it down." One scientist asked nervously, "Can they do that?" Rowan shrugged slightly. "We're about to find out." The nanits moved like a swarm of intelligent insects inside Lyara's body. On the medical screens, tiny signals surrounded the parasite device. For several long seconds, nothing happened. Then the device suddenly activated. Energy spikes exploded across the screens. Princess Lyara's body convulsed slightly on the medical bed. Several alarms screamed at once. One alien doctor shouted, "The device is fighting the nanits." Rowan clenched his jaw. "Of course it is." The parasite released waves of energy trying to destroy the nanits before they could shut it down. But Rowan had already expected that. Humans had learned long ago that survival required adaptability. He quickly uploaded a new command sequence. The nanits changed formation instantly. Instead of attacking the device directly, they surrounded it in a tight containment field. Like a cage. The parasite's signals weakened. One by one, the energy pulses slowed. Then finally, the device shut down completely. The medical room went quiet. All the alarms stopped. Everyone stared at the screens. Princess Lyara's vital signs stabilized. Her breathing became stronger. The energy network inside her body began flowing normally again. One alien doctor whispered in disbelief. She is recovering." Rowan leaned back and finally allowed himself to breathe. "Told you," he said softly. "Start small." Just then, the massive doors of the medical chamber opened. The Orion King stepped inside again. His golden armor reflected the light of the medical machines. He looked at the screens. Then at his daughter. Then slowly at Rowan. "Explain." Rowan pointed at the scan. "Someone planted a microscopic weapon inside her body," he said. "It was designed to slowly destroy her energy system." The king's eyes narrowed. A hidden assassination. Rowan nodded. But it failed. For the first time since Rowan arrived, the king's expression softened slightly. Princess Lyara moved. Her fingers twitched. Then her eyes slowly opened. The alien doctors gasped. The king stepped forward quickly. Lyara. The princess looked around weakly. Then her eyes stopped on Rowan. You saved me. Rowan rubbed the back of his neck awkwardly. Yeah, looks like it. The king stood silent for a moment. Then he turned toward the entire room. His voice echoed across the chamber. Let it be recorded. The Orion king raised his hand toward Rowan. Today, a human accomplished what the greatest minds of our empire could not. Rowan blinked. The king continued. And for that, the galaxy itself will hear of humanity's achievement. But Rowan had a strange feeling. Saving the princess was only the beginning. Because somewhere in the galaxy, someone powerful had tried to kill her. And they would soon learn something dangerous. Humanity had just entered the game. The room was quiet after Princess Lyara opened her eyes. For a few seconds, no one spoke. The alien doctors stared at their screens as if they could not believe what they were seeing. The princess's energy system was stabilizing. Her cells were repairing themselves. The dangerous parasite device was completely neutralized. The impossible had happened. A human had solved a problem that one of the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy could not. Princess Lyara slowly pushed herself up on the medical bed. She looked weak, but there was strength returning to her eyes. Her gaze moved across the room until it stopped on Dr. Rowan Hale. You are the human doctor, she said softly. Rowan nodded. Guilty. Lyara studied him for a moment. Her expression carried both curiosity and gratitude. In our empire, she said slowly, we believed humans were unpredictable. Rowan chuckled. That's a polite way of saying crazy. For the first time since the crisis began, several Orion doctors actually laughed. But the Orion king did not laugh. He stood near the bed, watching everything with careful eyes. Finally he spoke. Dr. Rowan Hale. Rowan turned toward him. Yes, Your Majesty. The king's voice was deep and powerful. You have done something extraordinary. My empire owes you a debt. Rowan raised his hand slightly. I didn't do it for a reward, he said. I'm a doctor. Saving people is the job. The king studied him for a long moment. Then he said something unexpected. That answer is exactly why humanity is dangerous. Rowan blinked. Dangerous? The king nodded slowly. Yes. He walked across the room and stood beside the medical display. Our civilization is powerful, the king said. We have ruled this region of space for centuries. Our technology is older than most species in the galaxy. He looked at Rowan again. But today, we were helpless. The king pointed toward the medical scan where the parasite weapon had been removed. This device was created by our enemies. It was designed to defeat Orion science. The room became quiet again. Rowan folded his arms. So someone tried to assassinate your daughter using a weapon made to bypass your technology. The king nodded. Yes. Princess Lyara spoke from the bed. The enemy civilization is called the Vexery. Several alien doctors looked uncomfortable at the name. Rowan noticed. Let me guess, he said. They're bad news. The king's expression hardened. The Vexery believe only the strongest species deserve to exist. Rowan sighed. Ah, space bullies. The king continued. They believed Orions were unbeatable. But today, they will learn something terrifying. The king turned slowly toward Rowan. They will learn that Orions now have allies. Rowan raised an eyebrow. Hold on, he said. I didn't sign up for a galactic war. Princess Lyara smiled slightly. No, she said. But you already changed the balance of power. Rowan looked confused. The king gestured to one of the royal guards. A large holographic screen appeared in the center of the room. It showed hundreds of star systems across the galaxy. This, the king said, is the Orion Trade Network. Thousands of planets relied on it. Energy, resources, transportation routes. It was one of the most powerful economic systems in the galaxy. The king then said something that made every alien in the room stare in shock. From this day forward, humanity will have full access to it. The alien doctors gasped. One of them whispered, "Your Majesty, that is unprecedented." The king ignored them. He looked directly at Rowan. "You saved the future of my bloodline." His voice echoed through the chamber. "So I will ensure the future of your species." Rowan blinked several times. "Wait, what?" Princess Lyara smiled. "You just made humanity one of the most powerful civilizations in the galaxy." Rowan rubbed his face. "This is a lot bigger than I expected when I woke up this morning." The king stepped closer. "But the reward does not end there." Rowan slowly lowered his hands. "I'm almost afraid to ask." The king raised his hand again. Another hologram appeared. This time it showed a massive alien shipyard. Thousands of enormous starships were under construction. Orion warships. The king's voice grew even stronger. "Humanity will also receive access to Orion defensive technology." Rowan's jaw dropped slightly. "You're giving humans your military technology?" The king nodded. "Yes." The alien doctors were now completely stunned. Sharing Orion technology had never happened before in history. Princess Lyara looked at Rowan kindly. "You saved my life," she said. "And because of that, billions of humans will now explore the stars." Rowan leaned back against a table. "This is insane." The king smiled slightly. "No." He looked toward the stars visible through the palace windows. "This is history." Far away in another part of the galaxy, hidden inside a dark warship, a group of Vexry commanders studied new intelligence reports. One of them growled in anger. The assassination failed. Another commander asked, "How?" The first one activated the recorded footage from the Orion medical chamber. It showed Rowan performing the surgery. A simple human doctor. No advanced alien technology. Just creativity. And stubborn determination. The Vexry leader narrowed his glowing eyes. A human solved it. Another commander nodded slowly. "Yes." The leader leaned back in his throne. For the first time in centuries. The Vexry looked worried. Because the galaxy had just learned something dangerous. Humans were not the strongest species. They were not the oldest. They were not the most advanced. But humans had something far more unpredictable. They had imagination. And imagination could change the fate of the universe. Back inside the Orion Palace, Rowan stood beside the princess and the king, staring at the endless stars outside the window. He took a deep breath. "You know," he said quietly, "I really just wanted a good cup of coffee today." Princess Lyara laughed. The king smiled. And somewhere in the distance, the future of humanity was just beginning.